Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Odd. We're your host Mark, and this time, as different from Sam, we got Max, my other son, who's joined us a few times, haven't you, Max?
Yeah.
But I think on a few commentaries, and we did quite a good episode comparing Star Wars and Harry Potter. Well, we scored them, didn't we? I think Star Wars won that time. It was a while ago, wasn't it? Okay, but today we're going to talk about The Hunger Games. We're going to talk about both movies and the first two books. We may even touch on the third book as well. We'll just see how we go. Okay. Right, so, I mean, most of the focus, I think, is probably going to be about Hunger Games Catching Fire, the movie, because we've just seen it's just come out. But we'll start off with the first film and the first book. Do you like these?
Yeah. The books, I'm a huge fan.
You're a big fan, aren't you? You've read them a few times.
Yeah.
And I've read them through once at least, so I can't, but it's been a long time. I read them just before we saw the first film, so it's a couple of years now since I've read them, but I think they're quite good.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like the third one. Maybe we'll come on to this later. From what I've been hearing, a lot of people, but I thought it was okay. It was surprising.
Yeah.
I like the fact it wasn't, conventional and took the easy way. It kind of was a more difficult route.
Yeah.
I quite liked it. So you like the books, you like the first film too, yeah?
Yeah, I liked it.
I'm quite a fan of the first film. I think I've said to you more than once, I like it more than I think I should like it.
Yeah.
Actually. No. I think I equate it as sort of teen literature kind of books, and the nearest equivalent I've got is Twilight, which is a quite dreadful film.
Ugh.
But this is the nearest to this, so I kind of think I should think of it in a kind of similar way, but it's a much better film in my film series as well than Twilight. Why do you think that is?
Well, I just think it can appeal to a wider audience.
I think it's partly that, but I think it's one of the really central things is I think the Hunger Games story focuses on one character really, Katniss.
Yeah.
And really carries it through, and also builds up a relatively rich world. Now Twilight does these things too, though it has more characters. But the problem really is, firstly, what the little I've read of Twilight is quite bad writing. But also, the fact is, in the films, the characters they look pretty, but they're not good actors. They really aren't good actors.
They're just boring.
Well, they're clothes pegs, and they look there to look pretty, whereas Jennifer Lawrence is a really quite good actress.
Yeah, she's very emotive. She
conveys it well.
Yeah.
I mean, in the books, there's a lot of inner dialogue with Katniss, isn't there? Thinking about the feelings of Katniss.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in a film; it just doesn't work. So, but Jennifer Lawrence kind of does that with her face and features. You get that turmoil and uncertainty, but she's able. Katniss is a very able character, isn't she?
Yeah, very.
She can hunt, and she gets on with things. She's never, I don't know what to do, so I'm not going to do anything at all. She's never like that, is she?
No.
And we feel for her, when she has to volunteer for her sister. Both in the book and the film, it's a really quite powerful scene, isn't it? Would you say? I mean, in the book, I remember it being quite devastating. I think the film conveys that quite well.
Yeah, they even start off the movie just showing how much Katniss cares about Prim. She's waking up from a nightmare, Katniss sings her to sleep, and it also kind of shows how Prim is really innocent and young.
Yeah, and there's an odd relationship with their mother. The mother's kind of zoned out, isn't she?
Yeah.
Since their father died. And the book doesn't go on about it, but it does come back to it several times. Whereas in the film, it's only really in one scene. Maybe two scenes, you get that feeling.
Yeah.
Where basically Katniss is preparing Prim to go to the reaping, dressing her up.
Yeah.
And also in the goodbye scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's only in those two scenes that we get that, whereas in the book there's a little more of it. Did you have any problems with the first film?
I had this problem with both films, and I might have it with the third one. It's just some of the things in the book that were, major issues. Like, for instance, when Katniss is in the arena looking for water in the book, it's a really big issue.
It is a big issue, yes, and you know she's near to death, isn't she? Really,
yeah, she's crawling
for lack of water.
on her knees.
Yeah, trying to find something,
and just falls down in mud, and then just comes to the conclusion that if there's mud, there's water, and then finds
it. Keeps her going. Yeah.
In the film, they just cut to a scene of her drinking water.
Water, yeah. They cut the whole section, but you know, films are kind of. I mean, it's a fairly long film anyway. If they were to put that scene in, though they could have, it would have worked. It's a filmic kind of scene. It would have made it too long. It may be they even filmed it and just decided not to put it in. I don't know. Yeah, there's a few things like that where certain things. They also brought elements that really didn't happen till the second and third book into the first film, didn't they? Where you see the start of insurrection.
Yeah. Where
that really didn't happen until Katniss sparked it. And I think it really only happened in the second book, didn't it?
Yeah.
And that was a surprise, but you can kind of see why they did that. I mean, and we see more of it obviously in the second film.
Oh, yeah.
I also had a bit of a problem with the actor playing Peter. He didn't quite fit for me. I've got used to it, and I've seen the film like 3 or 4 times now, and I don't know, there was something about him that didn't quite work for me. I don't know what it was. Though, having said that, they did some really great casting in the first film. I really thought Woody Harrelson as Haymitch was really good.
Yeah.
And the woman that plays Lady Gaga.
Effie.
Yeah. I think she's really good. And she doesn't get much chance to be good in the first one, though she is good. But in the second one, she gets
a lot of screen
and
time.
She's good, isn't she?
Yeah.
You know, when she's really sad about them having to go back in again, and she gets some gold stuff because they're hers. She feels that not quite her children, but her family almost to her.
On the book, they you're from the point of view of Katniss, so you see I can see how Effie is, she's just showing that she cares, but she's grown up in the capital, not being used to caring for tributes.
Yeah.
So she's just, changing. She's grown to like them.
Yeah, she's definitely a less shallow person in the second one.
Yeah.
And that kind of reflects the books. Well, the film and the books carry that through, don't they, I think. There's also some other things in the first book that I thought were quite good that was just missing, which is the whole issue with the Avoxes, and she sees an Avox from her old place, which affects Katniss quite deeply.
Yeah.
And that's all gone too. But there were some features in the book that they carried through really well. Foxface, I thought, the character of Foxface came through really strongly and well. They cast that actress, even though she didn't have much to, I don't think she even spoke, but she really suited the role. And I also like the fact that the children weren't twin, it wasn't kiddie acting, was it? It was children acting. Rue, I thought, was really good.
Yeah.
She could have been a bit cutesy, but I guess it's a grim subject, so you can't be too cutesy. But I thought that little actress was really good.
She really showed well how a little child would feel in that situation.
Yes, I think so too. And also a capable child who's grown up in an environment where she has to fend for herself and be capable. She's young, but she's capable, but she's way too weak for this environment.
Yeah, it just shows how growing up in the situations that she did, it gave her knowledge of plants and food. And climbing trees. She's quite good at that.
Okay. I liked some of the great, the scene with the dress. I thought it was really good in the first one. And they did a recap. I thought they topped it in the second one, what they did with the, I guess we got to say we're going to talk about spoilers in the second one. So if you haven't seen it, probably stop listening from this point, but we do recommend it to go see. It's a good one to see. If you like the first one, you'll like the second one for sure. Okay, that was. I'd forgotten. Was this in the book where she has the Mockingjay dress? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it was.
Good scene. Mainly because I couldn't remember it. I thought I really enjoyed that scene. I also saw Stanley Tucci as, I can't remember his name, but the compere, the creepy compere. I thought he did a really good job in the second one. He was quite. Obviously, he was a presence in the first one, quite a significant one, but it was even more so in this one, wasn't he? With the interviews and stuff. Do you like him, or do you think he's creepy? Or
I like him quite a lot.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about
like him.
His name's Caesar Flickerman.
That's it, Caesar. Yes.
And like even in the book, Katniss talks about how he looks like he cares about the tributes, and he like even if he knows they're uncomfortable, he'll still try to keep it going. He'll be nice and everything.
Yeah. Whereas I think in the films it was more he was creepy.
Yeah, he was just trying to get a good.
He
show
was
in the
slick
films.
and he was kind of creepy, but
Yeah.
he had enough. I mean, someone like that has to have a bit of empathy with her to obviously just the chemistry doesn't work. But
Yeah,
he's he ultimately doesn't care. I don't think.
No.
Also, the relationship between Katniss and the President Snow was a bit different. If I remember rightly, they didn't have a Did they have a face-to-face meeting?
Yeah, they did.
They
in the
did.
book.
I'm forgetting so much. What did it follow the film's conversation? Was it similar?
Yeah, it was pretty similar.
But wasn't that more at the end of book 1 than in book 2?
Or
am I dreaming?
I don't think so.
I got the impression in book 1 it was now let me think. Haymitch was the one who said you got to pretend you're going to get married and stuff.
It was.
And that's in book 1, isn't it? Or am I dreaming?
Yeah, it's in both books.
Right,
course.
yeah. But in the films, it's more in film too. So overall, we kind of like these films, like the books and the films. Which film do you prefer?
Both films are very good. There are definitely problems in both, but
That's
gonna
what?
happen. Like,
What's missing, you mean?
yeah, it's bound to happen in movies. You can't fit everything in.
Yeah.
But I think the first one, because like it's more interesting. Like, it's her first time in the arena. You see how she copes. In the second one, she's been in there.
Yeah, and all of it's interesting. All the tributes this time are very peeved about having to be there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because they've all gone for it. We see a bit of post-traumatic stress disorder with Katniss, don't we? And Peter.
Yeah.
From having suffered through that as well. Because it's like a year later. Obviously, it's a year later. And they come to the Quarter Quell. I did have one really big issue with the film. Actually, the second film, which was no one explained the plot to Katniss, whereas in the book there was a decent explanation right at the end of what she had to do to, do what she did.
Yeah.
Fire that arrow.
Yeah.
Whereas in the film, it was just luck. She just happened to do the right thing.
Yeah, in the film, BT is just unconscious. In the book, he's sort of conscious and hands Katniss the thing and points at an arrow.
Yeah.
And then points at the force field.
Yeah, but I think there's also a bit more set up in the book to explain that only in the film they say there's a weakness in every system or something like that. That's it. There's just one line. Whereas in the book there's a little more explanation. He does explain more technical stuff to her, if I remember
also,
earlier on.
In the book, she gets her in the book and in the films, she gets her tracker taken out of her arm.
Yeah.
By Joanna. In the book, that's a huge issue for her. Because, like, blood is spraying out her arm. She's really disorientated.
She thinks she's dying, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's stumbling. She's slowly dying. But in the book, it's just like, oh, my arm's slightly bleeding. Let's go.
Yeah. I remember that, but yes.
And in the book, Peter has both his legs. In the book, at the end of the first games, he has to amputate his leg.
I'd forgotten that.
Yeah.
The only other effect that I thought was a bit silly was, the fog, the corrosive fog. Fine, I didn't mind that scene, but the fact is their blisters just washed off like they were dirt. That just seemed a bit silly.
But in the film, it's a lot more, the reaction to the fog is a lot more sudden. Like, boils just pop out. But in the book, it's like your skin would slowly start to blister and bleed.
Yeah, which makes more sense in terms of getting to water and stopping it. But it's just not a cinematic. They would have to convey they're in pain without showing and things like that. Was there any of the new characters you really liked?
They showed Mags really well.
Sorry, which one was Mags?
The old lady who was from Phoenix District.
Yes. That worked well.
In the book, they touched a bit more on how she was making fish hooks, how she could make a fish hook out of almost anything.
Yeah.
And in the book, they really touched on how Katniss really didn't like Finnick at first.
Yeah, there wasn't much Finnick Katniss development, was there? It was enough for a film, though. Having said that.
I mean, like, in the film, they pretty much got on almost straight away. I mean, like, they tolerated each other straight away. In the book, Katniss really didn't like him at first.
Yeah, I mean, in the film, she was more almost speechless by him, wasn't she? I thought the scene with the sugar cube was actually pretty good for setting Finnick up. He was an interesting character. He kind of reminded me of a cross between the Joker and Shaggy out of the Scooby-Doo movies, but, with a buff body, kind of, been working out. But, he was quite a good actor, I thought. Good fit.
Yeah. In the book, they even in the arena, they were always mentioning how Katniss didn't trust him, how, like, she thought he was gonna run off with Joanna at any moment. In the film, it was just sort of like, you keep watch. Okay.
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
Well, no, she still didn't. You could tell she didn't trust him completely, because she wouldn't just go to sleep when he said he'll keep watch, did she? There was a bit of that, and I thought it worked reasonably well. So are you looking forward to the next films?
Yeah.
Because they're splitting the third one into two. I personally don't think they need to do that.
I can see how they do that.
Well, the thing is, the whole subject of rebellion and fighting lends itself to being expanded into a longer film, because it's action, isn't it? Fighting is action. You can put as much or as little as you want in when you're talking about fighting, can't you? So
but
you can extend a film. So you could extend it over two by just including more acting.
Yeah, but
action.
Also, in the book, there's a lot of slow scenes where there's dialogue. Like, if you haven't read the book, then you won't know, but they're constantly going to different places, and there's lots of slow scenes.
What I found about the book, if I remember rightly, is I felt the real story, the action part of the story ended. Now, this sounds like a criticism of the book. I'm perfectly happy with how the book is, but I'm just saying how I think of it. About 3/4 of the way through, the book actually finished, and the rest was epilogue about Katniss. That's how I kind of feel it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was fine with that. I've heard a lot of people saying the book's pretty bad and stuff like that, and I didn't find that at all. I thought it was quite a good book. And I thought what happened, the resolution between Katniss, Snow and, was it Alma Coin?
Yeah, Alma Coin.
Made sense to me as well.
And
I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, at the end of the third book, there's a small bit where they talk about
spoilers. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, there's about how Katniss and Peter do end up, and even then, you can see she hasn't changed much. She's still really reluctant to have kids. It takes Peter 12 years to convince her.
Right. I don't remember any of this. I remember it. The book actually finished for her being alone, so I've completely misremembered.
It's kind of like at the end of Harry Potter with this, that 19 years later.
I don't know. Donald Sutherland's President Snow was pretty good. I thought. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Catching Fire, don't listen to this bit. But they did touch on that bit that's in the third book, where he drank his drink at a party, and a bit of blood came out his mouth.
Yeah, you saw a bit of that.
And they touch on that in the third book.
Yeah, why that happens.
Yeah,
and why he's always got roses.
To
cover the smell of blood, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Jennifer Lawrence was really good in this. I kind of like how Katniss's character is really almost like the male figure in these films. Yeah. She's the go-getting, do things. And it's the two guys she's kind of with or interested in. The women.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit sexist, but it's like they're the passive ones. You know, in traditional stories, it's the male's the active agent and the female's the passive agent.
It's not going by the stereotype.
Yeah. And she just haven't got time to mess about with these guys. She's like, I can't think about this now. I've got to get on with business.
Yeah, even when she's not in the arena, she's still fighting for her life.
Yeah, I think the Katniss role is a really good role model, actually, because she's kind, she's compassionate, she's empathetic, she's able. She's almost wholly positive. The only thing negative you could say about her is she's sometimes indecisive about stuff.
Yeah.
But it's usually the relatively trivial stuff compared to what she's really having to think about. So that's a positive, you know,
Yeah.
she's properly focused on the right things.
She's not like a normal main character, which is like, you want to come with me, let's go. She's like, I don't want you to come with me because I don't know you, and I don't know what you'll do. She's not trusting at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall then, shall we wind this up? Overall, good pair of films. Really enjoyed the first one myself. I remember buying the metal case version of it pretty much when it came out, because I really was kind of keen to watch it again, and we watched it again. So we've watched it 3 times now at home, haven't we? I think
I've watched it a few times on my own as well.
And then we also went to the cinema when it came out, and we both enjoyed this one. All right then. So recommend from us. Bye from me.
And me.